Aaron Rodgers, oh my gosh, man. That man is dangerous, and he is angry. And angry, dangerous football players, he's going to tear them up this season. I say he's a dark horse for MVP.
Welcome back to another brand new episode of the Ethan and Mike Sports Show. I'm your host, Ethan.
And ladies and gentlemen, I am Mike, and I've got a big announcement. Not only am I back, but my bandana has made a return.
The bandana is back on episode 38, Mike.
Yes, I know. It's been a long time since I've worn it. You guys saw me in it, and they were like, wow, that's such a nice bandana. Yeah, I know. I had to bring it back. It's a bandana kind of day.
What's funny is this is the only time you can talk about your Hurricanes because your Hurricanes actually played today at 8. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Certain, man. But you know who we brought in today, Mike, as our guest appearance?
Who did we bring in today, my good man?
So this is the guy I met through the gram, through the hashtags. I love his craft. I love his work. I can say he's the greatest guy I ever met there. Payton Doyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, when I saw you on Instagram, man, you really struck out to me. I think I was like the first one to really recognize you, really.
Yeah, you guys were. When you reached out to me, that was when I was like really first starting. You guys were the first one to be like, "Yo, love what you're doing," and that was months ago. And you said we were gonna do a collaboration, and here we are, finally about to do it on the day that football comes back.
Oh,
it's only fitting. It's only fitting.
For certain, especially since Thursday night game, Houston and Chiefs. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, and then especially our Sunday picks for certain. But before we get into more of the background Payton, I just want to say of our sponsors, Thrive Fantasy. They're actually named Thrive Fantasy, but we just kind of like that little vice in there. So what is Thrive Fantasy, you may say? Daily fantasy app, that's a sports app. Tons of player props. Thrive has awarded over $1,300,000 in prizes since launching in 2018. Today's a great way to start because the NFL is coming back and a $25 on Thursday Night Football, or you can do it on Sunday. You choose 10 players out of 20, over or under. If you use our promo code Ethan and Mike, full caps, when you sign up today, you will earn an instant $20 on your first deposit of $20 or more. So what are you waiting for? Download Thrive Fantasy app on the App Store today and prop up today, or go on their website, thrivefantasy.com. Without Payton, let me just talk about your background, man. What really made you start with a podcast? I want to know this and the sports. I want to hear this.
So, like, my whole life, I've always been really into sports, really into football mainly, and basketball too, and baseball. I played baseball. Really, I wanted to start the podcast because this is just kind of what I want to do. I want to get into the broadcasting industry, journalism, stuff like that. So I'm trying to make a career for myself, starting off pretty young at 17 years old. So trying to get into it.
Fantasy, because I know you're into the fantasy. So if I started a league just now, who would I draft as of right now in the first couple of rounds? Who would I go for in fantasy?
Well, in the first round, I'm always looking at running backs. My first 3 picks generally in fantasy are always running backs. Number 1 overall has to be Christian McCaffrey. 100%. Number 2, I've seen people switch it up with Kamara, but I still would go with Barkley at number 2 and Kamara number 3. And then after that, we're looking at guys like Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon. I mean, I've seen Michael Thomas go in the first round, especially in PPR, but I don't know about wide receivers in the first round, but he's definitely the only one I would touch in the first round. So yeah, I'm looking at running backs for my first 3 picks in fantasy, no matter what.
Yeah, that's what I really will go for. If you have the number 1 overall pick, I will go for McCaffrey. But if you have like one of those, like you said, Barkley or Kamara is one of those 2 great running backs right there. I really will see that. The quarterback, where should we draft a quarterback? What round should we draft him at? Should we draft him in the 3rd round, later rounds? Where should be a solid quarterback decision?
It depends who's there. I mean, if Lamar is there in the late 2nd, early 3rd, I mean, I would think about it. I would strongly consider it, especially if I had the 10th pick. And if he falls to one of my picks, I might take him even late first round. Lamar Jackson, you're looking at a guy who's going to give you running back numbers. I mean, he ran for what, over 1,200 yards last year? I mean, it was unbelievable. And he's athletic enough to think that, there's no reason why he can't, at least get close to the rushing numbers. I don't know if he's going to throw for 36 touchdowns again, but, that's the earliest I would take a quarterback. I took Deshaun Watson in the 5th round, and that was the earliest that I took a quarterback in any of my leagues. A sleeper quarterback that I have that I really believe in is Drew Lock. I have a 12-man league. I took him in the 12th round as a quarterback, and he's my starter. He's the only quarterback that I have in that league. And I'm currently projected to win that league, actually. So Drew Lock, he's probably one of the sleepers. Him and Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I really agree there. I really mentioned it over the offseason, Drew Lock, especially because if you saw later in the season when he really started, he was really going on fire right there in Denver. And with the weapons he has at wide receiver position and in running back, it's really a good – and so especially Matthew Stafford, since they got Swift at running back and they got Adrian Peterson, which Peterson will do something, but he's just more veteran perspective-wise for them. But, yeah, I really do agree. Matthew Stafford and Drew Lock is sleepers. But any sleepers for wide receivers, I want to hear this one. Sleeper for wide receiver, running backs, tight ends.
I have tons of sleepers at wide receiver. Cortland Sutton, a lot of people know about him. However, I think that he's going to break out and be a top 10 wide receiver this year. I think he has a tremendous size, tremendous speed, athleticism. I mean, he mosses dudes. I mean, we even seen it last year. When Drew Lock stepped in, they were 4-1. That whole team was different. And Sutton's numbers went up because Lock knows how to throw that ball. And I understand that they just drafted Jerry Jeudy, and then they had another rookie out of Penn State, KJ Hamler, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's a speed guy too. But I think that Cortland Sutton is going to emerge as the pure number one in that wide receiver group. I love Jeudy, but I think Cortland Sutton is the man. And also – a sleeper that broke out last year, caught for over 1,000 yards, John Brown, wide receiver in Buffalo. He's still flying under the radar despite catching for over 1,000 yards last year. But I also think that adding Stephon Diggs is going to take a lot of attention off him in opposing secondaries, so that might create some big plays for him as well.
Yeah, that's very interesting there too. I never thought of John Brown. I really thought I thought of Preston Williams at the wide receiver for Miami Dolphins. I really see him as a sleeper because I know everyone's going to be targeting at Parker, trying to cover Parker. But then when you realize you have a speedy Preston Williams, who was pretty much blossoming last year, but he just got out with an ACL injury. But he looked like he was going to have a solid season last year, even with the team that we had. I think Preston Williams will be a sleeper for fantasy also. That's what I really think there.
I agree with that too.
But at running back position, do you have a sleeper there?
Running back position. Before this, I would have said DeAndre Swift, but honestly, I'm not sure what to make of him. Now that he's been injured all offseason, he's still questionable for Sunday's game, and they just signed Adrian Peterson. They still have Kerryon Johnson as well. So I don't know about DeAndre Swift. Just trying to think. Kareem Hunt is going to – I understand he's the number 2 behind Nick Chubb, but Kareem Hunt is going to play a bigger role in that Browns offense this year, and especially with Kevin Stefanski at head coach. So maybe in a PPR league, I would look at Kareem Hunt in a very late round.
Yeah.
Or maybe even Devin Singletary too. I forgot to mention him. Last year, he averaged 5.1 yards per carry, but he still got less carries than Frank Gore. Now, I understand they brought in the rookie Zach Moss, but Devin Singletary is the feature back in that backfield. I have heard he has had some fumble problems in training camp, but if he solves those in the game, 5.1 yards per carry is hard to doubt. So I would feed him the ball as well.
Yeah, Singletary. I always like Singletary, and I also like Miles Sanders too, for the Eagles too at the same time.
That is exactly what I was about to say.
I think Miles Sanders is really going to blossom the Eagles. I really liked him last season with the catch and the run too. So I really thought of him too. But back to the Bills running back, Singletary, I really liked him too out of Buffalo. He just got to control those fumble issues, and then he's going to be the future back for the Bills in the future-wise. That's what I really feel for fantasy right there.
Yeah, another wide receiver that just came on the top of my head, Anthony Miller from Chicago. He's mainly a slot guy. They're going to need to throw to somebody else other than Allen Robinson. It felt kind of like Mitch Trubisky was forcing the ball to A-Rob last year.
Yeah.
Anthony Miller is going to get a lot of targets this year, I feel like.
True. I really feel that. And then Trubisky just won the quarterback competition. So that's going to be very interesting because everyone thought Nick Foles was going to take the competition right there. But it's going to be Trubisky. So this is Trubisky's last year really to prove or not. Which I don't know.
And it's make or break.
It's a make or break.
Yeah, and speaking of like taking the pressure off Allen Robinson, like you said, Peyton, I feel like another guy that he can go to with the football is the newly signed Jimmy Graham. I feel because Jimmy Graham has always been such a reliable pass catcher for so many years, ever since he started with New Orleans, then went to Green Bay, Seattle, or no, he went to Seattle first, then Green Bay, and now he's going to Chicago. I feel like it's another giant step for Chicago in the right direction because, let's face it, they really were missing somebody at the tight end position, and I feel like that's a big, big asset that they added, and it's a positive too. Because he's even though he's getting older, he can still play like he was first coming out of the NFL, or not first coming into the NFL. So Jimmy Graham, Allen Robinson, two big guys that Trubisky can go to this year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, another tight end that I really think will blossom too, especially with Big Ben coming back with Eric Ebron, especially how Big Ben loves his tight ends. I really feel that Eric Ebron will do pretty solid right there with Pittsburgh coming off from the Indianapolis Colts right there. Since Big Ben's going to return, hopefully it'll be the same as it was, not like last year where he first started off with a patch that was horrendous right there. But I think Big Ben will get the dub for the Giants, but for certain. Mm-hmm. But I really like Eric Ebron at tight end position if you don't have any solid tight ends out there.
Yeah, and I feel like for Ebron, this is like a career rebirth because we all know that he was drafted by Detroit a couple of years ago, didn't really perform as well as we expected him to. So then he gets shipped off to Indianapolis. We're like, okay, let's see what he can do. He improved, but not as much as we thought we would. But now he actually has an elite quarterback who has been a Super Bowl champion, and he's been to the playoffs. He has that experience, and he knows how to win the game. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And my fantasy sleeper wide receiver is actually someone who I saw blossom pretty well last year is A.J. Brown from the Titans.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, ever since Ryan Tannehill stepped in, A.J. Brown's numbers shot up. And another AJ that everyone's sleeping on this year is AJ Green.
Yes, yeah.
He was a top 5, top 3 wide receiver. In my opinion, I think he could have been the best wide receiver in the league when healthy. Extremely talented, and we all know that Joe Burrow is going to step in, and rookie quarterbacks tend to maybe force the ball into their star wide receivers' hands. We saw that with Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson early in his career. Mm-hmm. I think AJ Green is going to get a lot of targets in that Bengals offense.
Into Thrive Fantasy, as we mentioned early in the episode right there. So we're going to go for over or under. We got 3 players I have selected for us to determine who over or under. So we're going to start off with Gronkowski. Will he get more than one? Will he get a touchdown this Sunday? Over or under? I'm going to start with Mike with that one.
I'm going to take the over on that because I feel like it's a reunion with Brady. We know that. And for those of you who don't know, where have you been the last 10 years? Because Brady and Gronk were so dominant in New England. I think they're going to be able to do it again in Tampa this year. I will say that he's going to go to him quite a little bit, but not as much as he's going to go to probably like a Mike Evans or a Chris Godwin or even a Ronald Jones. So I'm going to take the over, but I won't say that he'll get more than 2.
Hey, what'd you think?
I'm going to take the over on that as well. I believe he gets 1-2 touchdowns at least in the red zone. I mean, Bruce Arians, he's going to want to get Gronk going, get the Gronk show out there. And, Tom Brady's going to want it too. It's going to be like dazzling. It's going to be spectacular. I don't know how he's going to do for the season, but I expect a nice solid week 1 from Rob Gronkowski this year.
Yeah, I really agree with that too. I was going to say over too. I really think, as you said, Payton, we're going to go with him in the red zone. Get that 1-yard touchdown right there, Gronk, and you get that Gronk spike on week 1 versus the New Orleans Saints. That we'll see that on Sunday. And now go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just going to say that's going to be a great game. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh yeah, 100%. Game days are always fun on Sundays.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why you should
It's
try
so
it
glad
out.
to have him back. Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Especially with this
I
COVID.
can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
Especially with COVID around, man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Trust me. So now our second one we got here, T.Y. Hilton. Will he get a touchdown on Sunday? Yes or no? Over or under? Starting with Payton this time.
Yeah, I would say Ty will get a touchdown on Sunday. I'll go with the over on that for sure. Phillip Rivers, I mean, who knows what he is at this point, but they don't really have too much else to throw the ball. And plus, they're playing Jacksonville, who just got rid of Jalen Ramsey, Calais Campbell, and Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, that defense is in shambles. The whole team is in shambles. T.Y. Hilton's going to catch more than one touchdown on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree with that there. Because Phillip Rivers was targeting Keenan Allen, if you remember last season right there. So Phillip Rivers will connect with T.Y. Hilton, especially with a weak Jacksonville defense. So they let go a lot of players from that 2017 trip, almost to the Super Bowl. So I really see T.Y. Hilton going over. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over too. I'm gonna say 2 touchdowns on 12 catches for 125 yards.
Okay. So we got over there. And then our last one right here. So Nick Chubb right here. Will he get a running touchdown and a reception touchdown? Over or under? Starting with Mike there.
I'm going to take the under, actually. I want to say that they're going to feed him the ball more on direct handoffs rather than on, let's say, a flat route or like a little curl route. So I'm going to say under, but he is going to get a rushing touchdown.
Payton?
I would say over 1 rushing touchdown, but under any receiving touchdowns. He's never been a really good pass catcher out of the backfield. And I say in passing situations or in passing packages, Kareem Hunt's going to be the back that gets the most targets.
Yeah, I agree there. I'm going to say under there. He will get a rushing touchdown, but I think Kareem, like you said, Kareem Hunt will get most of the targets that day. And I really see Nick Chubb going under from just getting that reception right there. Floridians Picks. So just to tell our viewers and Payton what that is we usually pick who will win on Sunday on NFL game day. So we have our matchups. We pick who and that score outcome. So we're gonna start off with our fan base right here, the Dolphins versus Pats now. So Dolphins come into Gillette Stadium with Cam Newton at the helm. Who takes the game? And I'm gonna start off with Payton here first.
This is a hard one because I heard that New England's 6-point favorites.
Yeah, they're six. I think
yes,
6.5. 6.5.
I believe that they should be on upset alert. I'm not going to pick Miami. I'm going to go with New England. I say the score of that game is going to be 24-21 New England. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, sometimes he catches lightning in a bottle to start off a season. And who knows what Cam's going to be in New England. We haven't seen Cam play in over a year. He's been injured. And now he's with Bill Belichick, who's a great coach, but that team has very little talent on the offensive side of the ball. And for the most part, the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they have some nice players. They have Stephon Gilmore, but we'll see. The Dolphins are a nice young team, and they can surprise some people.
Yeah. Let me go to Mike now. So, Mike, who do you think will win this one? Dolphins or Pats? Let's hear this one.
Fitzpatrick is going to be the starter. We knew that going in. Yeah, we knew that going in after the draft. We said, okay, they may have taken 2 at 5, but Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the starter. As much as I want the Dolphins to win, like Payton said, the Patriots should be on upset alert, especially with not just our young offense, with Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Matt Breida and Jordan Howard, who we just got in free agency. But our defense is looking real nice too because we just signed Landon Roberts and Kyle Van Noy, 2 former Patriots going up against their former team. We have Eric Rowe, also a former Patriot. So I feel like this is a little bit of a revenge game for them. But I'm going to take New England. But it's going to be 24-20.
24-20? Okay. For this one right here, I'm really going to go for the Dolphins, not because just because we like the Dolphins. I just really think Dolphins it'll be a close game, 24-21. I really see like a really close matchup because both teams are gonna struggle in the game right there. I just say the Dolphins will have more weapons on offense than Pat's defense, especially since they lost key players in the offseason plus the COVID takeouts. So I really say Dolphins will get this one 24-21. I really see a win there. So I'm going to go with Fins with the upset right there.
Yeah, and for our Dolphin viewers, obviously I want the Dolphins to win, but I'm trying to be smart here, so I'm going to pick New England.
I just see an upset. That's why I just picked the Dolphins.
Yeah, me too.
Never bet against Bill Belichick, man. Listen, he's so great off of bye weeks, and are you telling me – I mean, he's had a whole offseason to prepare for this one game. He didn't even have any preseason games to think about.
Right.
I think the Patriots are going to come out swinging week 1.
Yeah, like I said, I see that too. I just want to see who comes out there. But I really say Dolphins right now, 24-21. It will be a close one. It's not going to be like no blowout like that. It's going to be really close. Because every time we play against the Dolphins and Pats, it's either very close or the Pats blows out. One of the two. But then our next game we got here, very interesting. Packers and Vikings, Aaron Rodgers versus Kirk Cousins, Cook versus Jones. Who we got here, fellas? We're going to start with Mike with this one this time.
You know, this is going to be a very important game for Minnesota, actually. Not as much Green Bay, because Minnesota, we know they just lost Stephon Diggs in free agency in a trade to the Bills. We know that. Dalvin Cook, he's coming back off of an injury, so we're going to see how that happens. Kirk Cousins, this is his make or break year of his contract with Minnesota. You've shown what you can do. Now it's time to build on it and prove that you can actually lead this team in a big game scenario, because this is the best team in your division for the last 10, 15 years or something like that. Ever since Rodgers came into the league, he's taken it over and he's run away with it. So I feel like Minnesota has to win this game if they want to start off the season right. But being smart about it, I'm calling this as like a statement game for Aaron Rodgers to shush all the doubters and the haters and the critics for their decision on drafting Jordan Love and thinking that maybe Jordan Love can come in and be the starter. I feel like this is Aaron Rodgers' make or break game to start the season. So I'm going to pick Green Bay 28-21.
Okay. So
for me,
go ahead, Payton.
Oh, my bad. For me, I'm going to pick Green Bay, and I'm going to say that they're going to win 27-17. A lot of people don't know this, but Minnesota lost over 5 defensive starters last year in free agency. Right. So that defense is not going to be the same. We always talk about Minnesota having a solid defense. Week 1 with no preseason, barely any offseason. Are we sure that these pieces that they just got in the draft are going to fit in immediately? I don't think so. It's going to take a little while for that team to gel. I say Minnesota has a down year this year because of that. And I say Aaron Rodgers, oh my gosh, man. That man is dangerous, and he is angry. And angry, dangerous football players, he's going to tear them up this season. I say he's a dark horse for MVP. He's going to tear up defenses. He's mad. He knows that he's not going to finish his career in Green Bay. He's not trying to convince them to stay, but he's trying to give them the big old, you're making a big mistake, guys. You shouldn't have done that. I don't need the wide receiver that you could have drafted in the first round. I'm going to win MVP this year anyways.
Oh, yeah. That I really see as a dark horse, that especially with Rodgers coming off from the Jordan Love pick especially. So that's going to be very interesting. And then overall, I like the Packers this game. I think it's going to be a little bit more than blowout right now, 31-17. I really see Aaron Rodgers firing out. He might get 5 touchdowns this weekend. Actually, no, 4. My bad. 4 because I said 31. So 4 touchdowns this weekend and a field goal. So I really see that. I really see Aaron Rodgers going out and making a statement. But he's a bad man, like Stephen A. Smith says. He's a bad man when you piss him off.
Mama, there go that man again.
Yeah,
as they like to say.
Bad man.
He's definitely a bad man. So I really say Packers will win this 31-17 right there. So then we're gonna go over our last one right now. Our last pick for today: the Bucks and the Saints. Tom Brady and them boys gonna go on to play against Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. So we're going to let Payton do that one first. Who do you think gets this one?
I'm going to go 31-28 New Orleans. Mike Evans is still having trouble. He missed practice on Tuesday and Wednesday with a hamstring injury. And all those new pieces are going to take a little while to gel. However, it is going to be an offensive shootout for sure. And Drew Brees, he always comes out early in the season, looks great. However, I do think the Bucs are going to win that division towards the end of the year because Drew Brees, he always kind of dies down towards the end of the year, especially with his older age. But I think the Bucs are going to take a little while to gel. That's why I'm going to go 31-28 New Orleans on this one.
Okay. Mike, what you got?
Payne, I couldn't agree with you anymore in being that it's going to be an offensive shootout. I'm going to take New Orleans as well, but I'm going to say it's going to be – what do I want to go for? I'll go 45-42 in overtime.
Wow. That's a high-scoring game right there.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
If that happens, I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah, I feel like Brady's going to come out firing, especially with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, and O.J. Howard as well. And all those guys. Yeah, that's right. Leonard Fournette as well. He's with Tampa as well. Breeze is also going to come back swinging. It's going to be a fist fight, like Ali versus Frazier, Mayweather, Pacquiao, anything like that, or even like a Clash of the Titans or something like that. But I'm picking New Orleans 45-42 OT.
I will agree with you guys both, actually. I actually do have the Saints winning. It's going to be a shootout right there. It's going to be – I'm going to say 38-35. I'm going to say Saints winning by the field goal. It's going to be a really good shootout with both teams. Both teams have good offensive weapons. And this is going to be a great one to see on week one especially. That I really want to see that. That will be week one highlights right there if you really think about it, dude. Then, but Payton, thank you for joining us, man. It's a long time now. I really appreciate you coming with your expertise right there, and keep on going, man. I really, really see you doing well, especially with the podcast, man. Especially on your TikTok. I've been seeing your TikToks lately, so I know you're gonna get up there like at the Prophet. Have you ever heard of him before?
I've heard of him. I heard of him. But thank you guys so much for having me on. I definitely would love to come on again and talk some football, and maybe you guys could come on my show sometime for sure.
Yeah, man. Trust me. We're going to try to get on your show for certain, and then we're going to try to get there. Once COVID ends, we're going to try to get there live right there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But thank you guys for listening to the Ethan and Mike Sports Show. I'm your host, Ethan.
I'm Mike.
And thank you. Thank you for listening to episode 38. We'll see you in episode 39. Take care.